Vragen wat hij altijd al wilde weten, van niemand minder dan, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Nathan Fillion!
Yesterday it was a cloudy day. We didn't have the issue with half of you with your eyes in the sun. Is that terrible? Is it the worst? Yeah, sorry about that. Worst seats in the house. You're welcome. Are you having a good time? What has been the highlight of your weekend? It's okay to say me. You guys are the best. I'm going to tell you this. I'm Canadian. I think that you guys rival Canadians in politeness. You're very polite. You're very nice. You make it real easy. That's the truth. One of the most dangerous things about conventions, I like to meet people. I like to shake everybody's hand. Sometimes people will grab hold of my hand like they want to fight me. They're squeezing it so hard, they're pushing their thumb into the back bone. They're breaking my hand. One time I hurt my hand and I had it all wrapped up. And I'm kind of go, hey, nice to meet you. And they would grab it and squeeze around the, what are you doing? That's not it. It's not handshakes. Let me go. You guys know this. I don't have to tell you this. A firm handshake. I'm holding your hand. I want to be your friend. When you're squeezing it, it's like we're going to fight. We got to fight. I haven't had that problem one time yet. It's a record. You guys are amazing. Also, I've seen some really amazing costumes. I'm looking at one right now. Lovely lady in white. You're looking really good. Super spooky. Super pretty. Me too. Yeah, me too. I saw an Iron Man getting dressed from the trunk of his car on the way in. Has anybody seen this Iron Man yet? Yeah. Tell him to come by my table. I want to take a closer look. Okay. Today, you, me, this is our time. Our personal time we get to spend together. You have some questions that cannot be Googled. Yesterday, I was asked a question. Does anybody remember what that question was? What was that question? Right. Yesterday I was asked a question that I'd never been asked before. If I was a cookie, what kind of cookie would I be? Good question. I have a prediction. I think today someone else is going to ask me a question I've never been asked before. All right, let's go. Who is the first? Right here, Joe.
I have 2 questions.
That's not allowed, but I'm going to allow it. Okay, go. 2 questions.
Okay. How was it to film Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? Because I heard you played a role in it.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the impact of the role you played?
Okay. I had a role in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I also had a role in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. And I accidentally spoiled it. It was supposed to be a surprise. James Gunn said, let's do this together, but don't tell anybody it's going to be a surprise. I said, okay. And I spoiled it at a convention. So he called me up and said, hey, would you like to come and do Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? I said, yes. He said, can you keep your mouth shut this time? Yes. So I'm not going to tell you anything about my role in Guardians of the Galaxy. Except for that, where I was doing my bit, it was in a studio just outside of Atlanta, right next to where we were doing our bit. They had a spaceship up on a gimbal, meaning that when you get inside and you're inside a spaceship, you don't have to pretend to turn because the whole spaceship turns. And the whole spaceship shakes. When things going on, everybody, it's actually moving like a spaceship. It was right next door. So what did we do? My brother was with me. We went in there. We took bunch of pictures. And outside the window was all green screen. And so my brother downloaded an app and put space out there. So maybe I'll leak some photos that make it look like I have more of a role than I actually do. We'll see what happens. Who's next?
Hi, Nathan.
Hello.
Firefly or Spectrum, and why?
Firefly, because Spectrum's not real. Firefly was real. But imagine, if you will, you're a little boy and you, or a little girl, and you have dreams of wanting, like, oh, when I grow up, I'd love to be on a spaceship, or I would love to be in a western, or I'd like to be riding a horse, or shooting a gun, or getting shot. All the things they do on TV. I got to do everything I wanted to do on TV in the first episode of Firefly. I had a list of all the things I wanted to do. I crossed everything off. I wanted to ride a horse. Check. I wanted to get shot. Check. I wanted to shoot someone. Check. I actually got to shoot a horse. Check. That wasn't actually on my list. It was just a bonus. But imagine now, you get to do all those things you dreamed about, and then you make friends on that show, and you laugh, and you hang out for, oh, has it been 14 years? I think it's 14 years. It's 15 years. 15 years, guys. Wow, thank you, by the way, for you, because if it wasn't for you, I'd be talking about it, no one would know what I was talking about. But Alan Tudyk, my friend from that show, calls me up and says, hey, wouldn't it be fun if we did a show where we were two guys on a sci-fi show and failed, and we get to play it all over again. We get to do everything all over again. It was a lot of fun. So Spectrum was good for that. Just guys hanging out and having fun. Next question, who's that?
Hi, question. During Castle, there was a lot of like...
First of all, New Jersey.
Yes. There's in Castle, there's a lot of little tidbits of Firefly involved in it. Sometimes do little jokes or stuff like that. Is that more the writers want to do that, or are you wanting to incorporate that into the show?
Typically, we had a Halloween episode in season 2 where I was dressed up like Malcolm Reynolds. That was entirely the writers saying, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a little nudge and a nod to the role you played in Firefly. Also, we had a Halloween party at the end of that episode. John Huertas was dressed as his character from an army show that he did. Seamus Dever was dressed as a doctor. He had a role on General Hospital where he played a doctor. We were all dressed as former roles we had. So it got even deeper than the references that some of you might know. There was other times when there was an instance where I had to, I think I talked about this yesterday, where I had to speak Chinese in an episode of Castle. And someone said, how do you know Chinese? And the line was something like, oh, I spent a summer abroad. And I said, we're missing an opportunity here, guys. How about if I just said, oh, from this old TV show I used to love? Yeah. Another time, Martha and Alexis were going to go to a spa called the Serenity Spa. And I said, oh, that's amazing. What is that? And she said, my mother says, you've never heard of the Serenity? And I wanted to do this where I go, look right into camera, just for a second. They didn't let me do it. But I wanted to. And I've done other projects. I did a little bit of Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters. The writer-director, super nice guy, threw in a direct Firefly. He said, oh, the show got canceled just like Firefly. And I said, this is great, I would love to reference it, but let's be a little sneakier about it. So we changed the line to something like, oh yeah, Hercules, something about Hercules, best show on TV, so obviously, canceled. And everybody knew exactly what we were talking about. Right? When you saw that movie, you went, oh, I've been on that joke. Good stuff, guys. Who's next? Who's that? Oh, here.
Hi, I do have a question because...
First of all, I love your costume.
Thank you, Herman. But I'm an aspiring voice actor. My question is, you did Steve Trevor in the One movie. And you have done Hal Jordan.
I sure did.
Imagine, but your voice is pretty much the same in both roles.
It sure
but
is.
Also, it feels different, like two totally different characters.
Yeah.
So, how do you do that?
How do you do that? That's a good question. So much of the work is done before I ever get there. I just try to make it sound real, make it sound living. That's my job. Make it sound like it's the first time I said it, or it's something I naturally said rather than I'm reading it off the page. Hal Jordan, I really enjoy his attitude because he's not this grand guy. He's a test pilot for the military, tests planes. He's got balls of steel. And that's actually what they're looking for in the Green Lantern Corps. You can't be afraid. Fear is the enemy of will. So this guy is just kind of really super cocky. And that's his superpower. Oh, the ring helps though. Enjoy that. Who's up?
Hi.
Hello.
I have a statement before I ask my question.
Okay.
I'm an aspiring actor and you inspired me to do acting, so I wanted to say thank you.
Thank
for
you.
that. My question is what...
Wait. Are you any good?
I hope so. What was the funniest / weirdest thing to ever happen on the set of Castle or Firefly or any of the work that you've done?
I mean, I don't know how funny it is. My pants used to split a lot on Firefly. They were not forgiving, those pants. They were made of canvas. They were really rough. I remember the pants were always kind of problematic. And just the fact that we were always in the desert somewhere. There was Safe, I believe, was the episode. Safe was the episode where we lost River. Remember that? And we were making a big deal on cattle, and there was a big shootout. We had to kind of dive and hit the dirt, and there's the money over there. We had to scramble over and grab the money. And I went home with so much sand in my pants. I couldn't believe it. These pants are good for nothing except for catching sand, apparently. So they're best at. I had to scoop up Jewel one time. She was shot. I had to scoop her up and carry her to rip. There go my pants. One time we were shooting a war scene out in the desert. I was just taking a break and I sat on a rock and ripped. I was like, oh man. And then one time I was just standing there and I wasn't doing anything and they just ripped. There was nothing happening. But the funniest, I mean, geez. I worked 10 months a year for 8 years. What was the funniest thing? It's so hard to remember one thing. Think. Here's something funny. Stana once played a practical joke on Seamus Endeavor. She convinced him that in an upcoming episode, he was going to go undercover as a male stripper. Seamus Endeavor is a vegan, so he has a very restrictive diet that he restricted even more, knowing he was going to be next to naked on television. Then Wardrobe sent him a bunch of tiny little things to try on for his scene. He's going, really? This is, oh my God. And on one of them it said, gotcha. Yeah, that was good. Because the poor guy tortured himself for weeks.
Hi, first of all, happy birthday for last Monday.
Thank you. I'm 46, guys.
What were some of the most fun stunts to do during your career?
Fun stunts. It used to be that I wanted to do every stunt. I wanted to do every stunt. Oh, there's a stunt? Let me do it. I'll do it. I'll do that stunt. And then I got kicked in the knee one time on Buffy. I punched out Spike. Boom, you punch out Spike, and his stuntman comes in and goes, whoa, he falls down, he kicked me right in the knee. And then we did another take. I punched him again, and he fell down, kicked me right in the knee, same knee. I was like, oh, it never got better. It never got better. And after that, I say, you know what? stunt guy did this one. And if the stuntman comes to work and you say, I'll do the stunt, he doesn't get paid to do the stunt. So you're literally taking work away from him. So I will say, if I actually want to do a stunt, I'll say, let him do it like 2 or 3 times. I'll make sure it's safe. And then maybe I'll try it. Maybe I'll try it after that. But in the last couple of years of Castle, I had a double. His name's Paul Scott. You can look him up. He looks very much like me. He's got very much the same color hair. They would style it the same way. They would dress him up like me. People have mistaken me for him in the streets and him for me. We get mistaken for each other all the time. The episode in Paris where Alexis gets kidnapped, there's a shot of Castle running down the street in Paris. That wasn't me. That was Paul Scott. They flew him to Paris to run down the street because I was still working in LA. And I said, wait a second. Then why am I ever running down the street? That sounds like a job for Paul.